Island's where we're going because everyone's got a lot of experience at Phillip Island. We love going here. We've got 34 laps to get around here, 150 kilometres. We go back to a sprint race. It's going to be very different. 12 turns to get around. Dan, take us through the track.
Yeah, it's a classic GP layout, very synonymous for Australian motorsports, whether it's supercars, MotoGP. Everyone knows how to get their way around it around here. 12 turns, 4.45 kilometres. We're expecting lap times of around the 127.5 range, based on what we saw last time out in the hands of James Scott there. So really good circuit. Racing's going to be absolutely top notch, and everyone's going to be turning up with that.
Your driving school lap of Phillip Island this week, and Norrie, you're going to take us through it.
G'day everyone, and welcome to the AOSC Jinx Shifters safety car as you join me, Norrie, on this lap preview of Phillip Island. Working our way through turn 12 here, and there's a nice long flowing fast straight here at Phillip Island. Great view of Bass Strait, but don't be looking there, be looking at the track in front of you. Pit exit coming up on the left, that's where a lot of drivers are going to be interrupting your lap. But if you've got a clean one, it's nice down here. Back one gear, fifth, and turn in to Doon Corner, turn 1. You want to use that exit curve on the left, which I'm not doing because I'm lining up for turn 2 at Southern Loop. You want to hug the apex on the left-hand side here and then work your way out onto the ripple strip at the end of the corner. And this is where you build the speed up to 50 and feather the throttle through here at Stoner Corner before working your way down into the nice braking zone of Honda. And you've got to really turn it this one. It's a nice hairpin. You've got to get turned around and then back on the throttle. Not for long though. You back down and second gear for Siberia. Car gets a little bit tail happy there. Working your way out of Siberia, you want to be pulling the gears because this is a nice fast section of track. You want to make sure your opponent is behind you through this one. Coming up past Hay Shed now. We're going to be back a couple of gears over Lukey Heights here as we want to use all the road on the left to really get into MG, turning right through MG. It's a nice hairpin, this one. And then out of MG through turn 11. You want to watch your traction to the ground here. This is really where you need good drive traction. And as we go through 12, you need to keep that drive traction. Don't end up in the sand pit. A lot of people have done that before. And that is a lap of Phillip Island.
Well, it's Phillip Island. We're all familiar with it. Big thanks to Pure Driving School, of course, for getting us a lap around there, and Norrie for taking us through exactly what we can expect this week. And don't forget, if you are an AOSC member, you can get some driver coaching if you want to look that up in our Discord channel and get in touch with the Pure Driving School. James Scott from the Logitech G-Autos Esports are actually part of that and taking people around the setup of their cars and certain corners and just training some people how to get around a lap a bit faster so they can be a bit more competitive. So great to have them on board and doing them for us. And Norrie, thanks for taking us around again. But the big question, Norrie, is pit stop strategy. What's yours this week?
Well, it's going to be a close shave to get out of that pit lane because that is right on the racing line where people are coming down that one. But we are back to sprint format, so there's no more multi-strategy driver numbers. Forget that because it's just going to be one stop. And it's going to be probably about 23 odd laps to a tank. So it's pretty short and sweet this week. Just make sure you fill the thing up and get it home.
And Dan, what's the areas you are concerned about on this one?
It's going to be a bit of a tricky one. Always the run down into turn 1 is super fast. Expect 2 to 3 wide action for the guys getting down there. Plus later on in the race, as Norrie was saying, you've got that entrance for the guys exiting from that pit stop. The big break zone down into Honda Corner. We've seen a huge amount of issues with guys previous rounds trying to get the car down there. A lot of penalties can be dished out. And your light can go from great to well down the back in 2.4 seconds. So doesn't take long at all. And then the big run up through the hay shed, up over Lukey Heights and down into MG, into turn 10. We're going to see a huge amount of passing down there. But then the tricky part is get the car out of there without the wheel spin so that you can complete the lap down through turn 12 and set up for a good run for your next flying lap. So plenty of, it looks simple on the track, on paper, but it's very technically challenging in all aspects, and setups are going to have to be pretty Mickey Mouse to make it around here tonight.
Yeah, and the previous winners here have been in Series 9, Brady Mayers. James Scott was the winner back in Series 8. McKnight and Cooper, Webster in Series 7. So that was a endurance round. Sam Blacklock in Series 6. And also he went there twice in Series 6, Jordan Rogers and Jay Maloney as well. So this one's a big one. James Scott didn't win last year. Brady Myers stepped in and took that crown off of him. Do you think James Scott's going to be dominant again this week, Dan and Norrie? Do you think that's where it's going to be at?
Look, I think there's going to be a lot of very quick cars out there. You can't discount James Scott. And I know Norrie's going to be disappointed with me saying it, but Eltis have won the last 2 events that we've had there. So, yeah, tough competitors nonetheless. But keep an eye out for the Synergy guys. I mean, they've been coming on strong along with DPR. So either Jordan Ross, if he can get up there, doesn't have any issues, definitely in contention. And the likes of Andrew Dyson, Corey Shepherd, and Brian Borg all going to be in that top 5, I dare say, and challenging for the victory.
Yeah, Norrie, how do you think tyres are going to go around this track as well? Do you think we're going to see a lot of right-hand wear?
It's normal sort of right-hand wear for Phillip Island. Everyone's pretty used to it. Like you were saying before, the sets here are all pretty dialed in. If you're not quick at Phillip Island, why bother showing up to any other round? But it's hard to take the focus away from James Scott. He's always been sort of our lead driver in the series, and that's why he's won the championship twice. But I reckon, yeah, Synergy guys are going to be up there. If the Premier guys are really serious about this championship, they're going to be up there. But yeah, it's just a no fuss aero track, and they'll be fast.
Yeah, well, 150 Ks, they're not going to have long to fight it out, so they're going to have to get in, and they're going to really have to make their mark early on. Now, another new thing that we are introducing into AOSC10 is, of course, the introduction of the Top 10 Shootout, which has been put out on media this week, and we've been letting all the drivers know about it. So this is how it's going to work, and it's a little bit different to what we have seen before. We have a qualifying session. So obviously we have our pre-qualifying, then we have our split 1, our split 2. Split 1 go out, have their own qualifying session again. Well, now you're going to get one flying lap, and that's pretty much what you're going to get. You're going to go out, you're going to pre-qualify, and we're going to reduce the time down to 20 minutes. So you'll be able to do as many laps as you like in pre-qualifying. But once we get the split 1 and the split 2 separated, the top 10 after pre-qualifying will have to wait to go into a top 10 shootout at the end. They'll get an individual lap each. If you're 11 onwards, you've only got a limited amount of time to get out there as well. We've cut the session down a little bit. This one's going to be hard, Norrie. I mean, what is the strategy here? Do you wait to see who goes out first, or are you the first car out?
Well, that's the thing. You can play it from both ends of the board. Sort of, you want to be the first car out, but then everyone else is going to have that same idea. So do you wait till they've done a couple of laps and then you go out and set your lap time? Like you say, it's a challenging one to play this one, but the guys who really do come on strong will be the guys who pick that timing perfectly, who watch their timing and know exactly how far the relative is to the car behind to give you that advantage.
And Dan, the other factor to this one is also, even though the top 10 guys get a lap to themselves, we're going to make them go to the end of pit lane at the end, and they will get separated and get one flying lap. If they don't set a top 10 time on that one flying lap, they could end up way back in the field.
Absolutely. It's a real pressure cooker situation for these guys because with the speed that you get around this circuit, it's very easy to get an off track. And even if it's just a 0x, that's your lap aborted, you're done. So for the guys that we would traditionally see, if they do make a little bit of a meal of it, have that little bit of an error, rather than starting 10th, we're going to see them well down the order, and that's only going to compound on what they've got to do to get through for the remainder of the race. So it's a little bit of a hero or zero moment, whether you can get it up towards the top end, but you're going to have to be supremely cautious of it. I mean, we're in some ways fortunate we're not at Long Beach, because I know there was a lot of drivers concerned about having to do that hot lap there, especially with the confines of the concrete all the way around there. So it's a little bit easier, but just as much pressure to get that good lap in.
I tell you what, though, it's going to be exciting for the viewers because we're going to be on the edge of our seats on Friday night, just waiting to see exactly what happens with the top 10 shootout and how it puts probably some names. We could see some big names further back in the pack, and we could see some names we normally see mid-pack right up the front. So this one could be an interesting round coming to you from Phillip Island. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the AOSC TV YouTube channel, make sure you do. We start qualifying at 9:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So once we've done the pre-qualifying, the qualifying will be from 9:30 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that one. The main race starts at 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's only 34 laps. Phillip Island, back to a 150-kilometre sprint race. Friday the 5th of February. It's race 178 in AOSC history. Guys, anything else to mention? Have we got anything else we need to look out for this week?
More bids.
Yeah, keep an eye out on the beards.
Yeah, keep sending those bids. We are looking for all the races picks, actually, because every time someone sends us a new races pick, they've all got a beard. So we'll wait and see how many beards we've got in the series this season. So can't wait. Send them in, let us know what's going on. And, of course, make sure you're commenting out there on YouTube so we can see everything and talk to you guys as well. Can't wait to see you there for round number 4 at Phillip Island. See you soon. Well, hello and welcome to round number 4 of the AOSC10, and of course it is race number 178. A few technical issues tonight if you just joined us on the stream, sorry about that, but looks like we are underway and we've got a bit of a practice session going on with only a few seconds left in that one. I'm Matty Kavanagh, and back in the virtual commentary booth is Daniel Leet and Matthew Norris. Welcome, guys.
Good evening, Matt, and all viewers. Great to have you back for round 4 here at Phillip Island tonight.
And Norrie, you've been out causing some mischief, have you, in the last couple of days since we recorded our pre-show? You've been out there just checking everything out on Phillip Island?
Absolutely. I've examined the track thoroughly, and it's in its virtual state as it should be. No wild geese on the circuit as yet, so hopefully we'll keep them off and not digitally load them in.
I have not seen Rob Harris on his lead in practice, so that's a great thing. Of course, we have had the practice sessions up. A late change to Phillip Island this week. If you just joined us, didn't watch the pre-show, but we did have to change over due to some little glitches in iRacing with the supercars, where we had some cars at Long Beach going on their lid around the hairpin. So Phillip Island, it was a well-known track. Everyone's been here. We've done plenty of laps. And tonight it's going to be a sprint race, 150 kilometres, 34 laps to get it done in. It'll be in just over an hour to complete the race. Of course, tonight, another thing we've got to talk about quickly, guys, is just to touch on it, is we are going to have a top 10 shootout tonight as well. So that one's going to be a bit different. Everyone's going to have a solo qualifying session. And fortunately, with some of the issues we've had a bit earlier tonight, we're actually going to be able to go through some of the drivers who are out there doing their solo runs at the moment. You can see Hayden Harrison on there. So everyone exits the pits are going to be in their own solo little screen. We can cross between them and check them out as they get around. But everyone's going to be up, and we'll be able to see the times that are set on the left-hand side when a bit later, once we start to see some people. So they'll have an out lap, they'll have a flying lap and an in lap. They'll get one flying lap to set their time. So if they go out of the bounds of the circuit, obviously that null and voids a lap. That's pretty bad. The top 10, though, from our initial qualifying, our pre-qualifying session, they are locked in and loaded or ready to go. We'll go through them very shortly. They will go out one by one, and we will go through them in a bit of a top 10 shootout style. But the big news is, if they don't make it in that top 10 time on that one lap, they could end up right down the back of the field.
Yeah, it's a really tricky scenario because you need to put down a hell of a lap to get yourself as far up through the grid as possible. But you got that little bit of added pressure of putting the lap together. You can see everyone's setting the times out there currently. If you make that small little error, run a fraction wide, pick up a 0x, that's that lap aborted, and you're starting wherever you end up, which will be right at the back of the field. And to get through Phillip Island with a full field of cars in front of you is definitely not where you want to be.
No, and that's probably one of the advantages, though, to the top 10 guys, Nora, you touched on it, is that they will actually be able to see the time they need to beat, which may play a little bit of a factor for some of the guys if they don't want to push it to 100%. If they're already in the top 10 and they know they can comfortably run a time in the top end, do they take the risk and go for the whole hog and start at a pole, or do they just try and remain in that top 10?
Yeah, you're not wrong, Matty. It does give them the opportunity to see the time set by their competitors and either rise to the occasion and match it, or they can either just go conservative and make sure they get home and finish. Because, like you're saying, if they get an off track or they get a single incident on their one flying lap, that's it. They're P nowhere.
They could end up right down the back, and that's really going to hurt them in the race. We have seen the sprint races, you don't get a lot of time to catch up. There's really not much pit strategy in this one. Like you said, Norrie, in the pre-show, you're going to have one pit stop, really. It's going to make it all the way. Come in early, come in late. If we get a safety car here, I mean, there's a lot of grass, which can be very slippery. That sand pit as you come back onto the main straight around the final corner. It's one to watch out for as well.
There's a few tricky ones at your hairpins. So there's MG and Honda, the two hairpins on the circuit that are really going to cause problems if people run off the track on the infield and rejoin into the group of cars. I've also done some number crunching, and based on the fill in the tank, lap 10 is the earliest they can stop and get home. So anywhere from lap 10, we should expect our stoppers tonight.
There we go. We see who is that? I just missed that who went off, but yeah, off onto the grass already. So that's going to hurt your flying lap as we see Matty Mascord's at the top. No, Smart just goes there. Christian Smart, he's was quite good in the endurance last week, and now it's Misdale takes up our number 1 spot on the flying lap. So they're starting to complete them. They've basically got 9 minutes to get out of pit lane. They've got 20 minutes to complete their one flying lap, and then the top 10 will be unleashed. Was it 9 minutes actually? I think we've got 10 minutes to complete their lap, because they don't have to be out there in traffic. They've basically got their own sim to themselves. No one else on the road, which means teams can't draft either, Dan. So you can't have a slightly slower person in qualifying where you say, get under my back wing and I'll drag you around, because you just can't do it. You're the only car on track.
Yeah, absolutely. It really creates a very level playing field for everyone. I mean, as you say, in the earlier session, a lot of guys utilising that draft to get up at the pointy end, but out here it's all about car control, consistency, and getting it through. And we're already seeing some pretty stout times at the moment. Brett Loxton currently at the head on a 129 dead at the moment. He had a purple third sector as well to get through that lap, as we keep an eye on Thomas Hinds working his way around. All green sectors so far. We'll see where he slots himself up and into. Actually going to come in 14th, so not too bad a lap time for him. There was 129.57, so already a fair bit of disparity up throughout the field at the moment.
Yeah, that was Andrew Dyson just pulled up. He is actually in our top.
Keep an eye here. Jamie Davis getting around and on his first lap, big lock up there down into Honda. And that's not what he needs to try to get that car underway.
So all our top 10 runners are going to have to sit and hold and bite their time. Gives them the option to view the laps as they come down from 11th backwards. So the drivers we're holding out tonight is Andrew Dyson, Tom Freer, Adam Briggs, Jordan Ross, Damien Johnston, Michael Schreier, Kyle Stokes, Brian Borg, and Corey Shepherd, James Scott, as well as you'd expect from his previous form in AOSC.
Watch Jamie Davis come through a little bit of an off track as he works his way down through 12. We'll see what time he's able to set, but already seeing at the moment Brett Loxton still current quickest car out there, 128.998. So a lot of work for those guys to do as Jamie Davis gets across the line in a 130.32. Not too bad. Currently looking at the standings, so as we said, Brett Loxton out in front, followed by Daniel Misdale, Christian Smart, currently P3, Matty Mascord, Aaron Dodd, Jamie Dyke, Bailey Friggs in there, Neil Pearson, Reece Keane, David Kidman, in the top 10 provisionally at the moment. Then we drop back to Stephen Varga, Jacob Knight, Rob Bowden, Thomas Hinds, Sebastian Flock, Craig Anspach, Aaron Gilbert, Craig Kenneth Utter, Logan Bennett, Marty Hanson, and Grant Keynes down in 21st. So already between those top 21 cars, 0.7 of a second difference separating those guys. And then we've got Rob Harris, Luke Holland, Matthew Brower, Damon McKenzie, Cameron Veacock, Hayden Harrison, Thomas McAvoy, and Henry King, Jaden Borg, Jamie Davis, who we saw setting his final lap, and then Greg Sharp, currently in that provisional 32. And as you're saying, no, 10 drivers left to set their time.
Yes, I'm getting late word in that Michael Schreier is not going to be participating, and so everyone's going to get bumped up one, and Jamie Stovall might make it into the 10 here. This is the thing with the top 10. If these guys don't set a representative time in above the 129 that Brett Loxton's put in, they could be pummeled down the field. So it's a really interesting setup. You really want to be on your A game here, guys, and making sure that you don't get any off tracks. You watch the track nav guy that I did on the pre-show, and make sure you stay all four wheels on the circuit, because this is exciting. You can go from the top 10 to absolutely nowhere in a matter of seconds here.
Absolutely, and we're not going to be too far out. Let's see if we can quickly pull up a track temperatures just to get a look at what these drivers are going to be expecting as they work their way through. The first of our cars soon to be released. There'll be Andrew Dyson for DPR Racing going to kick off this top 10.
So we'll be holding here for a slight moment as the top 10 get themselves in order. Race Control doing a fantastic job of making sure that these drivers know exactly when to go and exactly how long they've got. The top 10 runners will be on track shortly while we get this fantastic view of Phillip Island in its digital recreation here on iRacing. It's a fantastic precinct as we look over Bass Strait. It's an awesome circuit, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. It's supremely fast flowing. really requires a lot of driver commitment to get the most out of the lap here, especially as you crest the brow through down the front straight there. You're just looking at a wall of ocean in front of you there before you fire off down into turn one. But some very quick corners, and point of time, the guys got to keep those laps clean and tidy where possible.
Yeah, that's the thing. The shootout gives you one opportunity. You can either be a hero or be a zero. And it's one thing that has always differentiated most motorsport events from any other sporting events, being able to go there and have the whole precinct to yourself for one whole flying lap. It's a different and remarkable opportunity, and it's something pretty bespoke to motor racing. So we're going to get Andrew Dyson to track shortly, and he'll be our first runner in the AOSC Top 10 shootout here at Phillip Island tonight. Yeah, so Jamie Stovall filling in that place, made in his absence the top 4 remaining cars move up one. And Jamie, who was P11 in the opening qualifying, has made his way into this first ever AOSC shootout. So he's actually on his flying lap at the moment. Pulls out of Siberia and he's pulling all the gears. 4th, 5th into Hayshed. Little bit of lift on the throttle there. All these competitors be watching this and making sure they don't make that same... I'm not going to call it a mistake because it's just the way Jamie's going to approach the lap, but it's going to be nice and deep down into MG. And he's coming around 11 and onto 12, the main straight. What sort of a time is he going to set for his opening lap? Jamie Stovall, a 1:36. So it's 33rd. That is the last of the runners. That is unfortunate for Jamie Stovall, but we'll move right along to Andrew Dyson, who's the next driver on circuit. He's on his outlap. He's warming up the tyres and getting his car all set and ready for this one flyer. Dan, what exactly does he need to be doing to focus his mind in this moment?
Well, right now it's all about just getting the tyre pressures in, get the car up to operating temp so you're ready to go work the brakes. Just build that little bit of tyre pressure, be easy on the application. You're already here, just very minimal throttle as he builds a little bit of steam now heading up through the Hayshed section up towards Luton Heights here. So now he's in focus mode, his eyes forward, ready to go. Let's see how he gets out of MG, because it's going to need to be a clean exit from here. He'll pull it back into first gear, and we'll watch him just quickly short shift back through the gears as he sets up for a nice run into 12. This should be the start of a very good lap. He's got to beat a 1:29.00 if he wants to get up to the 20th end of the field at the moment. Which was set by Brett Lobson just in the qualifying session just before. And as he gets underway, it's a good start. Just runs it right out to the curb, plucks 6th gear as he goes across the line and heads down towards turn 1.
Absolutely, he's on his flying lap now. Andrew Dyson tips it into turn 1, doing corner and flying through there in the Sim Rigs DPR supercar, coming into Southern Loop. Oh, he comes out, he's using the double apex there at Southern Loop, so it's another option for getting around there and maximising your exit speed. So he's flying down into Stoner Corner. Timing sectors are looking all right. I'm seeing purples pop up for Dyson's lap here as he's pulling down into Honda's. A bit slidey in the rear there, Andrew, so you want to calm that one down. Down into Siberia, a nice fast left-hander. You got to really watch your throttle here because the car gets tail happy if you get too much sand on the rear wheels. It's flying through into Hayshed. And this is a really fun part of the circuit where you have to knock it back a couple of gears to crest the hill that is Lukey Heights. Ultimate professional, he's done this a million times before. Not in AOSC, but he's done a few million laps of Phillip Island, I'd imagine. through turn 11 and then on to turn 12. Andrew Dyson going to set a remarkable time here in this session. I'm not sure where it's going to put him regarding to Brett Loxton's 129, but it should be up there. That's a 128.996. P1 for Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, nice lap there. Gets the purple through sector 1 and running a little bit wide on the exit there. That little bit of dirt on the exit wouldn't have helped that time there much, but keep an eye on that one. As Tom Freer now sets off for his flying lap to see where he can qualify. Gets it down into 1. Couple of approach to what we saw from Andrew Dyson. Double apex through that corner. Back onto the throttle, running it right out wide to the curb using all the road. And then a sum. As he tips in towards Honda hairpin, see where there's a lock-up, gets it squared away nicely on the entrance. Car just fighting a little bit of understeer mid-corner as he gets through, but not setting the tyres alight on the exit, so good drive out through there into the bottom end of the course. It's a purple sector to start this one off, 28.32. That's a great lap as he gets his way up through towards the hay shed now, into 4th gear, up into 5th gear. Runs it right up to the limiter before he crests the hill into towards MG over the top of Leaky Heights here. Just picking up the throttle a little bit as he works his way through back to 1st gear for the run out. Nice traction as he works his way back through turn 11 and then out towards turn 12. This is a very nice lap for him. It's a good middle sector for him. Let's see what he's able to do as he comes across the line here, and this should jump him up towards the top 5 at least, maybe in towards P2.
Yeah, Tom Freer takes provisional pole in this one. It's a 128.86. And that's a fantastic time. Moving right through to Adam Briggs. He'll want to be hoping to knock Tom Freer off that time. And tipping it into turn 1. No looking for brake lights there as he's trying to make that one smooth line around Southern Loop. And making his exit now towards Stoner Corner. It's a great part of the circuit. You really get to pick up all the speed and watch Phillip Island just fly by. Adam Briggs doing everything he can to maximise the braking. Oh, it's a bit loose there in the rear. As he's got to come around Honda, and he's going to have to forget about that and really try and maximise everything now through Siberia. Traction to the road has got to be absolutely spot on. You can't have any more sliding on this lap. As he's making his way through Hayshed and on the run up to Lukey Heights. The sectors on timing screen are only green. They're not purple like Tom Freer or Andrew Dyson's were. So this will be a good lap, but it won't be a great lap from Adam Briggs. He's going to want to maximise everything out of turn 12 here and onto the main Gardner straight here at Phillip Island. Adam Briggs running to the line. His time is set, and it is a 128.7, putting him in provisional pole for the AOSC.
Really strong lap there from Briggs. Wonder what could have been if he had got the purple in sector 1 there, only a couple of tenths slower. Tom Freer, but great lap for him. To switch back now to Jordan Ross as he works his way through turn 2. We'll keep an eye on the sector times for this lap, but it's already a very tidy run. He works his way down towards Honda hairpin. We'll get a representative time as he ticks through the line here. It's 28.45, so marginally slower than what we saw from Adam Briggs as he runs through Honda hairpin. 1/10 slower than what Tom Freer had said as well. So Freer with an awesome run in that early phase through the first sector. To work through the middle here, Jordan able to get a nice exit. Car looking pretty handy at this point. Yep, through the hay shed. Using all the curb to get that car through, just settling it nicely through the brakes. They work their way up over the top of Lukey Heights. Next big phase down into the brakes. Looks good. Little slower through sector 2. Comparative is about 1/10 of a second off Adam Briggs through that one there. As we look at where he is at here. Good run out the final corner, and this is going to probably set him up for around 2nd or 3rd position. as he crosses the line and puts him down into P3.
So position 3 there for Jordan Ross. He's not going to be happy about that, lining up behind teammate Tom Freer at this stage. Damien Johnson, another one of the Synergy Sim Racing cars. He will have another chance to put their team on pole position. Currently at the moment, Adam Briggs is sitting there on provisional pole for Simrigs DPR. Bit of a brake lock at the right-hander at Honda there, so that's not going to be good. But you want to maximize your exit traction and make sure you're running down to Siberia and not compromising any other corners on this lap. Damien Johnston with a couple of green sectors so far, so it's looking good in his favour at this moment. Over the curb cam there at Hayshed and moving upwards to Lukey Heights. Really maximising all the road on the left and making sure it's tipped into the right. Nice, early to the apex and exiting straight and square off that one. Damien Johnson coming through turn 11 and then onwards to turn 12 as he makes this big run down the Gardner Straight here at Phillip Island, setting a time as he approaches the line. It's going to be representative up near P7. Where did that go wrong?
Yeah, not the kind of lap ultimately hoping for there, as we switch over to another of the Synergy cars starting their lap. Kyle Stokes looking pretty good already down into turn 2. We'll follow this lap around. A little bit scrappy through the mid-corner, getting up on the curb. He's going to have to be cautious on the exit there, not to pick up an off-track there. I think he's just marginally avoided it, but really got this car by the scruff of the neck. He works down in towards Honda hairpin. Good braking down into that corner. No sign of a wiggle like we saw on the last run there from Damien Johnson. Good exit momentum down towards Siberia here. It's a handy lap time, 28.43. So a little slower than what we've seen from the guys out towards the front as he works through the midsection of this lap down through the Hayshed up towards Lukey Heights. The car looking pretty handy, using a little bit of curve as it gets up over the rise, down in towards the brakes at MG. Not a bad application through that. Tips it in nicely, picks up the throttle, and no wheel spin on the exit there. So it works up through the gears, turn 11 on to turn 12. This will be a handy lap for him. There's a 26.73 in the middle sector, which is just a couple of tenths slower than what we've seen from the guys ahead. Nice exit down onto the front straight. Check out what time he was able to put down. That was a 28.73. That will drop him into P10, just behind Matty Mascot.
P10 is not good enough for Kyle Stokes, so Brian Borg sets out on his mission to go and claim position 1 here in qualifying for the Phillip Island 150. Right on board now. He's got that fantastic looking helmet on his head there. Ryan Borg will be needing to use every piece of road he can as he works his way into Honda. Gets it turned. Oh, there's a bit of an inside locking there. So, Borgie, what's that one? So he keeps his Premier Racing Team car set up and tips it in nicely for Siberia. And it's not real loose on exit, so he's using a bit of curb there. That will help get the drive traction to the road. And he tips it down right and running past Hayshed here, up past Lukey. It's a nice smooth application here from Brian Borg. Been doing this for a while. Second highest amount of starts in AOSC history for Brian Borg. As he makes his way through MG and keeps the drive tracking down on turn 11 and then onwards to turn 12. Got to keep the car's nose pointed at the apex. And Brian Borg does a fantastic job there. He grabs a little bit of curb at the end of that one to sign that one off. Flash of the lights as he crosses the line, and it's a 128.96, which is P4 for Brian Borg.
Really strong lap time there for him. We'll switch to his teammate Corey Shepherd, working his way down through the southern loop, out over all the runoff there. Good exit for him. Keep an eye on the sector times as he works his way up towards Honda hairpin. It's a good, clean run so far. Big braking application. No lock like we saw from Brian. He gets in towards the middle sector there. So good exit there. A little bit of a wiggle from the back end of the car as he works his way out and up towards Siberia. Gets it turned through not bad though. It was a purple sector for P1, 28.29. Quickest time we've seen out there so far. Let's see what he's able to do through the midsection of the course. He comes up through the hay shed, up over the curbs, a little bit of a slide in the mid corner. It's another purple sector, 26.7, 26.4, sorry, as he works his way up over the top of Lukey Heights. This is a great lap, Corey Shepherd. Nice braking application down in towards MG here. Gets it out, a little bit of a wheel work as he works his way through, down into 10. Out through 11, it's good drive using all that curve. Tipped it into the final time through 12. Seeing what he's able to do on the exit here. The car looks very good. He gets out over the line. This should promote him up to P1 as he comes across the line. And it is a 1:28.43, and that will set him 3/10 quicker than Adam Briggs.
Fantastic job from Corey Shepherd, and now the fate of our qualifying top 10 lies in the hands of James Scott, 2 times defending AOSC champion, current series leader, crosses the line to begin his lap, and he's going to want to get pole position here as he tips it in turn 1, and there's a little bit of brakes in the mid corner there, so trying to keep the nose on line. And he runs a tight line through Southern Loop, so he wants every piece of traction that he can get out of his Logitech G Altus Esports Commodore. Tipping it through Stoner now, and he'll want to be nice and smooth on the brakes. The gauntlet has been set by Corey Shepherd, and James Scott knows he's got to rise to the occasion if he wants pole position. The timing sectors are looking good. They're looking purple, which is meaning for James Scott as he makes his way through a bit of slide through Siberia there. He'll be forgetting about that one pretty quickly as he uses a little bit of curb to come through Hayshed and climbs the left hand of Lukey Heights. Car looks nice and smooth. Doesn't look like he's pushing it too much, and it's not getting too out of shape. So he's doing a fantastic job. James Scott tipping it through. The bit of traction down to the ground. And this car is not sliding. He's got it dialed in nicely. James Scott always runs a pretty smooth setup in his car, and it suits his drive. Position 1, 1:28.33. That is your pole position.
A cracking lap time from James Scott there, 1/10 of a second quicker than Corey Shepherd. Brett Loxted, one of the biggest movers following the qualifying session, not making it into the top 10, but finding himself starting 8th tonight. Probably the biggest disappointment out of the top 10 runners, Jamie Stovall, not getting a great lap there. He will start back off the grid, and that was a bit of an awkward run for him there. So a lot of work for Jamie to do to come back through the field for Pursuit Sim Racing tonight.
Yeah, unfortunate for Jamie to be sort of dropped from 11th into the top 10 and then down to its position nowhere, like I said before. So it's position 42 for Jamie tonight. That's going to be a hard one to run.
While we wait for the finish of this session to go through, must say quickly thank the sponsors who was helping support AOSC this season. Jinx Shifters coming on as the naming rights sponsor for season 10. Great to have them on board, and some awesome hardware that they have available. AJ Insurance Services, simrigs.com, Sydney Computers, 6 Gear Imagery, who put out some fantastic shots of all the cars post-race. Race Art Australia, Track Cams for Gourmet, for all the camera files that you guys are seeing here tonight. They do a fantastic job. And now as we get ready for racing here, 45 laps, sorry. It'll be a very quick event in the 150k range. And how are we expecting this to unfold? Looks like our top 10, or at least our top 2 with Corey Shepherd, James Scott, very, very close, and not much time really separating the field behind those guys.
No, you did right there, Dan. It's quite close at the front of this field. James Scott and Corey Shepherd seem to be our 2 series protagonists so far. They're the 2 that have been right up the pointy end of this championship, and they've been taking Jordan Ross and Tom Frere and some of those guys with them. They're still there in P4 and P5. Kyle Stokes, one of the worst or not one of the worst, he's one of the unfortunate ones out of that qualifying session to end up P13. So he's mid-pack after originally qualifying and position 4 on the original qualifying. So he's going to have to battle back tonight with everyone else. But like you say, Dan, it's 34 laps and it's only a short 150k, so it's not the biggest race here tonight. So maybe some of them do take that reverse strategy where they can fill up from about lap 10 onwards. They might try and reverse it and the race. They might not see the need to run long and get bogged down in traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be really dependent on how we get away at the opening start here. If I was Stovald, I'd be definitely considering that option. But as we look at the grid, as we're ready to get underway, James Scott will be leading the way with Corey Shepherd alongside him out of second. Adam Briggs and Tom Freer off the second row. Jordan Ross and Brian Borg starting 5th and 6th. Andrew Dyson and Brett Loxton in 7th and 8th. Daniel Misdale in 9th with Damien Johnston alongside him out of 10th. Christian Smart and Matty Mascord will be starting 10th and 11th. And then as we move back, we've got Kyle Stokes and Aaron Dodd alongside Jamie Dyke, Bailey Frid, Neil Pearson, Reece Keane, David Kidman with Stephen Varga in the 20th position. Jacob Knight, probably not a great qualifying for him. They're starting at 21st with Rob Bowden, and just behind them, Thomas Hinz, Sebastian Flock at a 24th. And as we work our way down a little further, we've got Craig Anspach, Aaron Gilbert, Kenneth Ladder, Logan Barnett, Marty Hanson, and Grant Keynes in 30th. Rob Harris, a long way down in 31st position with Luke Holland alongside him. Matthew Bowler with Darren McKenzie, Cameron Veacock, Hayden Harrison in the 36th position. And to round out the back of the group, Tyson McAvoy, Henry King, Jaden Borg, Jamie Dangerous, Greg Sharp, Jamie Stovald, and Tony Gaffer.
Okay, we're going to get some lights here on the grid. It's 5 lights and away we go. Let's get this one underway. 150 kilometres here at the AOSC Phillip Island race. We've got
their way down into turn 1. James Scott able to retain that lead. We've got some 2 and 3 wide action from the pack going through, and one guy just dragging the wheel a little on the off there. Nice cars in the wall. Who was that? Marty Hanson out in the weeds off turn 2 there. I don't think he took anyone alongside him, but falling well down the back of the field. That's a loss of 14 positions. As everyone now fires their way up towards Honda hairpin. James Scott's held on. Got a 3/10 margin over Corey Shepherd. Adam Briggs had a great jump, 7/10 behind. As we keep an eye on the rest of the field, Loxton has gained a position now over Damien Johnson. And the rest of the field are working their way through. So relatively good start for everyone concerned. Unfortunate for Marty Hanson. He has fallen right at the back of the field following that jump.
Fortunate for Hanson. Kyle Stokes moved up 3 spots. I did see Matty Mascor with a bit of 2 wide action through turn 1 there. But it looks like as they all crest, is that Jordan Ross in the background there with a bit of side-by-side action through MG and on their way out of that one. Turn 12 as they're all tipping into the final corner. James Scott still leads this race from Corey Shepherd, Adam Briggs, Tom Frere, Brian Borg, Andrew Dyson, Brett Loxton, Damien Johnson, Christian Smart and Cole Stokes is your top 10 at the moment.
The train has settled down a couple of inches further back in the field. This might have been Cameron Veacock and Jaden Borg getting involved with an issue just at the back of turn 12 there. So these guys having to now work their way back through. But out front, everything looking pretty good. Brett Loxton, as we said, up a spot into 7th. Jordan Ross working his way through. He's lost 7th early on, so a bit of an awkward start there for Jordan as he falls well down the field. He's got Daniel Misdale just ahead. Matty Mascord right behind. So you have to be cautious here as the field compresses down into Honda. There's a move just behind there as well with Aaron Dodd getting up under Matty Mascord as well to see whether he's able to hold that position as they work through Siberia, and does so.
Try and see if we can get a replay of what happened to Marty Hanson.
Just seeing the end results there, fired off hard into the wall. Check out this from the run down into 1. So it was an inside line through turn 1. Some cars checking up early on the way in. And as he gets over, actually gets some contact from one of the Frog Elite cars that fires him off hard into the wall and a lot of damage on that car for him. He has been able to recover and gain a couple of spots since, but that was a hard hit into the walls there, Matt.
Yeah, never a way you like to see a race car ending up, but let's hope he can get prepared, and back into the session. So we're returning now to your leaders, which is still James Scott holding out Corey Shepherd. The gap is quite small though, there's only 0.3 to each car in that lead battle, so they are quite close together, and you want to hope that Corey does actually sort of try and make that lunge here. This is the one thing he needs to do if he wants to be challenging for this championship. He's got to be really ambitious and make some lunges. Back to Bailey Frid, who is, is that Eddie Mascord running a bit wide there with a bit of inside locking into Honda there as we find sight. Position 20.
Drop further back into the field. There's big fight here. Rob Bowden with a moment as he goes off at Siberia. That's going to drop him 5 or 6 positions as he tries to get back into line there. That was just a little bit of a hip and shoulder with those guys working their way through. So 3 wide action still down in the midfield, and definitely where the racing is most hardly fought here. Rob back underway. He's got Henry King now right in front of him. Matthew Fowler right behind. And there's a move down the inside there. Grant Kane sends the Mach 1 car in, gains another position. So he's got Craig Ansbach just ahead in the tank car, and Aaron Gilbert just a little further ahead of these guys as well. So it's all single line running down through that final corner, turn 12. As they set their sights down. You can see the long train well up the road. And a move here for David Kidman, trying to hold off Jacob Knight down into one, and Knight with a bit of damage on the car, and another hip and shoulder.
That's him. Oh, nice save there from David Kimmond as he comes back into the circuit. You'll want to be watching that one. That might not make our AJ Insurance impact of the round. But
definitely the brown pants moment. It had a little bit of issue from one EXG car, then sliding right back in front of another one.
Oh, he's tagged the back end of the Jinx Shifters. Oh,
Rob Bowden.
There's a whole lot of this going on in that one.
See whether we can get a look back at that, because there's a Frog Leap car sitting stationary. That's Logan Barnett. Has not been able to get that car rotated around as he lets everyone through, but that was a big one for all those guys involved. And Bowden's not going nowhere here at the moment.
See if we can't get you a replay of what exactly happened. Logan Barnett in the Frog Leap car. The white car at the top of the screen just runs really wide in the front and gets innocently taken out. Anspatch seems to be the one that's Constantine of that. Jamie Stovall had nowhere to go once that Frog Leap car was sitting in front of him, so that's a hard luck story for Jamie tonight. He's going to be struggling from the back of the grid from his qualifying effort, and now getting involved in that mid-pack incident.
Yeah, definitely not what he needed as he worked his way from the back of the grid through. Jordan Ross here all over the back. Daniel Misdale down through too. There's just a little bit of mid-corner momentum there. Has a little wiggle on the exit for good measure as well. But Jordan still fighting back from those 7 spots that he lost earlier on. Aaron Dodd lining up for a run down in towards Honda Hairpin and forces Jordan very defensive on the initial run in. A little bit of a lock up there, but he's able to get good drive out and retain that spot. So Aaron's going to have to think about these opportunities of when he wants to go. He's got a little bit of track space between himself and Bailey Frid behind. Keep an eye on where he's able to get that move completed, as Daniel Misdale still out in front here from Jordan Ross.
Absolutely. The drivers are just escalating things in the race controls chat. I can hear in my ear, and they're not happy about all the decisions not coming down from that one at the moment. As we see Thomas Hins making it down the So Thomas Hins is licking some Samps and sending it, and he's finding some positions further up the road here. He's made up 9 spots in this opening stanza of this race. You just see that train flying down towards Bass Strait. Hopefully some of them turn at turn 1 and they don't end up in the drink. But you want to tip into doing corner turn 1 And these guys are battling for position at 16 on the road.
And Hims with a little bit of an interesting line in there through two, just backs it up through the mid corner, tries to set himself up for a nice run. Further back, Kenneth Laddett, Neil Pearson, David Kidman, who we saw have that wild moment only a couple of laps ago, settling down and getting back on this fight down here to 22nd position. And a lot of work for these guys to do to catch back up towards the pointy end. But they are looking out pretty nicely here. We might see Kidman with a move as there's some side to side between Jordan Ross and Daniel Misdale.
Oh,
Both those cars off.
what are these boys doing tonight? They're just playing dodgem cars. But it's fantastic action that we're seeing here, and these guys here. It almost looked like Daniel Misday in the sim race car was sort of soaring at the wheels. We went through MG there. It's probably not the best way to get around the corner, but you want nice smooth inputs on your wheel work. Tom Frere heading this bunch, followed by Brian Borg and Andrew Dyson preceding car. These guys are battling for position 4. You can see that gap has just extended from Adam Briggs to Tom Frere just a bit. Brian Borg obviously not satisfied sitting in behind. He wants positions and he wants championship points. As we move into Southern Loop, you've pointed to it quite correctly, Dan. There's a couple of different lines through Southern Loop here. We saw in the qualifying James Scott takes a nice tight line, and Jordan Ross takes a sort of zigzag approach and has a double apex through Southern Loop. A few different options there. Brian Borg defending from Tom Frere, who's got Andrew Dyson taking a dive into Honda. There's Brett Loxton in the back. He's going to have a look at it too. Tom Frere's gone from 4th down to 7th in a matter of corners, and it's going to keep falling.
And Dyson there, almost with 2 moves into one down through Honda, just had to pull it up from getting into the door of Brian Borg there, but Dyson coming hard as he works his way up, and he's all over the back of the Premier Racing Mustang here as they fire up over the top of Lucy Heights. So look out for this move to still be on. Brett Loxton's in a good position up those couple of spots from his qualifying, and sitting pretty handy waiting for these guys to have a bit of a moment before just locking that inside wheel through MG, gets it gathered up to fire out through towards turns 11 and 12. And there's absolutely nothing separating these two. Looking at the sector times on their way around, there's a slight favour to Borg as he went through sector 1, a little bit back to Dyson through 2, and then again back through 3. So these guys not separated by much at all. Here's a move down into turn 1. We'll see whether he's able to do it. Just thinks better or it pulls back. Have another run, probably down into Honda.
Borg would have had a better sector last lap because he was tucked up behind Frere for the first bit of that corner into turn 1. Dyson really getting on the back bumper of Brian Borg. He can read the racecraft sign. He can read the 017. He won't care. He'll want the position and he'll want it now. As he's going to brake and dive, and that is a position gain. Andrew Dyson, lock of the front right for Brian Borg. Get the crisscross and get back on the gas here as you want to get out of the corner. Brian Borg is not going to want it. He's going to want to close the door for Brett Loxton behind there. Tom Frere gets a bit of reprieve in 7th as he's got Damien Johnson and Kyle Stokes teammates in the synergy operation there. They'll want to help him from falling back any further, but he's got to regain his composure. As Andrew Darwin just gaps these guys. Sorry, Dan.
No, you're spot on there. Just needs to settle it down a little bit as Loxton has a big look down the inside there, and Borg all over that one, just trying to hold this off. This is a great fight. As keep an eye on this. We'll quickly touch base on the top 3 at the moment. James Scott has managed to clear out to the tune of 1.6 seconds over Corey Shepherd, who has a further 3 seconds there over Adam Briggs there. So the top 3 really checked out from these guys, and we'll keep an eye on this battle for 4th position because this is one of the hotly contested spots here. We've got 6 involved in this one, and Jordan Ross is not continuing to go from bad to worse, down further few spots now, 13 spots down from where he qualified early on in the race. Gets one of them back down the inside on Jamie Dyke there, and the little slide job.
Almost in Jordan Ross there, getting 1 position back, so now it's slightly less bad for him, but it's still a great number of positions he's lost tonight, and that will be a pretty bad night for the Synergy guys. They've all sort of gone a little bit backwards, and that won't be happy for them in their camp. But Tyson McAvoy is the driver on screen. He is making his way through Stoner Corner, and he is up 20 positions tonight based on that timing monitor. Okay, so Rob Bowden has received a drive-through from that incident we saw earlier on at Honda. And that will be put paid to his efforts tonight, but he has still got a way to make it back from here. They've still got a pit stop to go in this one.
Keep an eye on this. Holland has been involved in a fair bit already and a bit of damage on the back end of the Type Van Esports car there, so that's not going to hurt him too much, but a little awkward seeing the deck spoiler gone from the back of that car. But Tyson McAvoy all over the back of this one as another penalty for the 096 for contact on lap 5. Just trying to work out who that car is as we scroll through the list. That's Grant Kane, so going to have a drive through there. That will really hurt him, sitting in 27th position.
Oh, McAvoy's off the circuit. Sorry, get Dan. McAvoy's off the circuit there as he was following the absolute zero downforce the car ahead. I thought we discussed having rear wings at Monza last week. Guys, you should be paying attention. As Tyson McAvoy gets back on the circuit and gets back going again. He's lost 3 or 4 positions out of that one. That won't be happy camping.
And a good recovery to get that car back over to the tarmac as quick as possible with the least amount of damage possible on it. Further back up the front, this scrap for 4th position, still continuing with Brian Borg, the meet in the sandwich here between Loxton and Dyson. At the moment, Kyle Stokes is getting involved in it. There's 4 Symmetry cars all lined up here, ready to have a crack when they can. You've got Tom Freer, Kyle Stokes, Damien Johnson, Christian Smart, all sniffing around the back of this little fight.
Yeah, you look at your championship standings and 2 of those guys are really in contention. The other guys still got some points to get before they're in that top 4 on the championship charge. Currently looking at 717, which is David Kimmond in the Pursuit Sim racing car. He's in a very handy battle for position at 20 at the moment. And these guys just don't give an inch. They don't take them off. They take them on. They don't give an inch.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already seen that tonight with a few big hits down, especially into turn 1, a couple into turn 5 down into the hairpin. And everyone is still settling down. Nori, if you're down this far at the back, we're almost into the pit window range where you can come in from here and get home. What are your thoughts if you're well down the back of the order? We know Jamie Stovall has struggled to work his way back through the field and was collected in one of the earlier incidents down here at the hairpin. Do you come in now and try and back time the race from there?
Kimmon and Pearson's just came together, but yes, you do want to sort of get out of this traffic, because as you can see on circuit, it is just traffic, and that is such a problem if you're trying to get, as one of the cars slowing out of Siberia there. You do want to get away from the traffic. You do want to sort of pit now and get yourself onto a piece of clear circuit. That will help bring your lap times back up to the standard they should be, and that should get you back up to pace with the rest of the team, when the rest of the grid, once they eventually do pit.
Moment here as well. Let's have a look back here at Misdale. We'll see the incident for him down into MG. A little bit of a slide on entry, and then just loop back end around.
Contact with and Mascot, great avoidance until that happens.
He gets hit by a pinball going through the middle there as they work through turn 11. That's not a good run for him, but he will get back underway with not too much damage on that car. Sebastian Flock should be looking at an opportunity here down in towards the hairpin. We might stick with this one to see whether he's able to get this one done. And right behind Kenneth Ladder, just holding station as well. So these guys work their way up towards the hairpin, spreading out so that big fan to come through. Surprising, none of them were able to get the car down the inside. So there's a little bit of a lock-up from one of the DPR cars just ahead. Who was that? That might have been Neil Pearson having a bit of a moment on the run-in.
I've seen more contact tonight at Honda than I've seen probably in 14 or 15 years of watching motorsport. So that's been quite an impact filled corner tonight. They're all chasing the AJ services, the AJ insurance impact of the round, and I'm not sure any of them have claimed it yet, but we're making roads to it tonight. We are approaching or are entering the early stages of the pit window now, so these guys will want to start thinking about that reverse strategy if they dare, or if there is going to be a safety car, if it's going to come, and are they going to get caught out. We do have, one of the Simree's cars just ducking off into the lane there. That could be a tidy little strategy for him later on.
Yeah, we've also got Jordan Ross in the lane as well, so Ross and Misdale getting their stops completed for the night, which is a pretty smart move when you have a look at where everyone is out on circuit at the moment. They should come back in just in front of our leaders who are just getting out of Honda hairpin at the moment, so this should be a good strategy for those guys. Sebastian Flock up on screen at the moment, gained a couple of spots up to 21st position. He's got Ken Latta trying to get around, and Nathan Bauer down the inside looking for a move here, and they're recovering Craig Ansbach from that earlier incident that he was involved in. So some good fighting down just outside this top 20. You can see Latta down the inside. He should get this move done on Flock. It's a nice run through the middle of Honda.
Yeah, it was nice and tight. It was the first time I didn't see any cars make a contact through Honda tonight, so it's fantastic going from these guys, and they're sort of setting the benchmark. Back from this is Craig Ansbach in the tanked SRT car. He'll be wanting these guys to actually make contact, quite the contrary of what we want here in the com box. We want a nice clean race. He'll want them to take each other out so he can advance himself and make some positions. And these guys are in a battle for 15th, so the back end of the top 10 here.
See how gingerly they get on the throttle as they work their way up to 12. It's a good run here. Craig should be able to get just onto the back end of that draft, possibly have a run down through one. Just quickly on those two stoppers we saw earlier, Misdale and Ross, they got in and out, serviced in just over 17 seconds for them, and they actually found themselves in a nice little bit of real estate as they entered back out. Although looking at Jordan Ross, he's going to be right on the back of Jamie Davis within a couple of corners here. So they're going to be catching up to a little bit of traffic, and they're hoping it's going to be in the lane as soon as possible.
Yeah, they'll definitely be the ones to watch tonight to see if that pit strategy does pay off for them. If it does, I'm going to say I'm a genius. If it doesn't, then I'm going to ignore it. But these guys are running their own race, and that's fantastic to see. They've got to throw the strategy at it and play the game a little bit differently. Because if you play it like all your other competitors out there, you're just going to finish where you are. Brett James Scott now at the front of this race, and he is extending his margin over Corey Shepherd. Not by much though, there's still a second between them, and they're still making steady gains. But you look at that gap from Adam Briggs to Andrew Dyson, and it is huge on circuit now. These guys in those further positions, as Tom Free is actually moved further back there.
It's been really good lap pace from the top three at the moment. Last time by, Corey Shepherd was the quickest by a 10th over James Scott and Adam Briggs. So these guys sitting pretty comfortable at the moment with quite a handy margin already over Briggs and Paul in that battle as they continue on their efforts. Watch the rest of the field flood through here. I think we saw Rob Harris is going over with a bit of damage on the front of his car, and so feel very well spaced out as they get through the mid portion of the race. 15 laps down, 17. Well, actually, about 17 laps still left to go to get us to the conclusion of this one. And I mean, it's already been a great race. Cannot wait to see how the guys get through for the remainder of this one. Keep an eye here. Sebastian Flock has got mirrors full of Matthew Bauer down in 22nd position, and they've dropped off a little bit now from Ken Latta and David Kidman, who have just managed to extend that gap. Kidman with a moment on the exit through Siberia, and it's going to set him up for an attack here from Latta as they work up towards MG. We'll keep an eye on this one over the top of Lukey Heights. Latta can get the nose of that EXG car in, might see him fire this one down off the top of the hill. Thinks a little bit about it, and it's not quite close enough, but a very defensive move there from David Kidman down through that section of the circuit.
Yeah, now backwards with McAvoy on Greg Sharp in one of the Coda cars. he'll want to be maximising exit out of this corner down into turn 12, and this is really where these guys are going to make their runs for positions here, because at Phillip Island at the long straight, the aero effect on the cars is fantastic. You look at Tyson there running at the racing line and getting all defensive from Greg Sharp, so they'll be battling tonight. Craig and Spatch further up the grid. He's in position 17, holding up Grant Cames from Mach 1. These guys are all sort of settled into their rhythm now, so now they're probably just holding station. We are on lap 16 of 34, so we are getting towards the end of this fuel load. If these guys do have the fuel or have filled up fully at the start of this race, that's where they'll be coming from.
Yeah, and for Grant Cames, he served that drive-through penalty earlier on for contact, and good recovery for him to be getting through there. This fight, though, the 20th position with Flock and Bowler continuing on. Flock a little wide over the top of Lukey Heights. He's going to have to keep it defensive down towards MG. Just closes off the door there as they work their way through. But for Matthew Bowler, he's going to have to consider where he can get through. Maybe it's about the time you come in and get that pit stop done. And speaking of pit stops, Aaron Dodd and Bailey Frid also in the lane for their first and only stops of the night. Sebastian Flock points first there, and he'll come down the lane and release Matthew Bowler now for a couple of laps.
Yeah,
Brett Flock's been having a very good run, still following what was a very unexpected qualifying session for him. Actually, is that Kyle Stokes losing the back end, the Synergy car through the hairpin there, but held on, gained 2 spots, sitting in 6th, not too far off the back towards only 8/10 of a second behind, and just over 9/10 over Stokes and Johnson, who are having their own little inter-team battles. The last thing you want to do is have some contact between these two cars here.
This is one of the things the teams have to... Oh, we're getting a safety car. So now watch the pit lane as it lights up. Corey in, they were further quarter late, but they are straight in the lane, straight towards getting serviced in this race. You just look at it's just a roll call.
He'd be mad not to come in here, and that one almost could have ended badly for our leading three. If they had been a little further along, they would have missed that jump, and I hate to see where that would have put them down, but it certainly would have shaken up the order of the grid as everyone else continues to work their way through. We should see Rob Bowden stay out along with Aaron Dodd. Those guys were only in a lap ago, so this will be very beneficial for those guys. They should jump themselves up quite a few spots as a result.
Absolutely. This is one of the better things about the short fill strategy, or the early stop strategy, if you like. You do get that track position where you can just fly around here and make up a ton of positions. Aaron Dodd is one of those people who's going to just come around to the front of this field. Depending on, these guys are exiting now, so he might make that positions, but he's still going to elevate himself drastically compared to the rest.
That's a great timed pit stop from him to come in that lap earlier. He'll regain down in an 11th position, so that's been very beneficial for him. Along with Jordan Ross, who we saw having to recover a handful of spots after those earlier issues for himself. The big one I want to keep an eye on when this all shakes out is, where did Jamie Stovall finish? Because we knew he was well down the order following qualifying. I think he has managed to get himself out. Just not picking him up on time. There we are, 32nd position. So he's gained 10 spots, but still a lot of work for him to do to get back up. But this is going to be very beneficial for him with the train being as compressed as it will be.
Yeah, this is the time of the race where you want to be making sure that you're all ready to go, because what the safety car will do is condense the field and make them all a very tight pack again, and they'll need to go again and race.
Well, we've seen off that opening start, James Scott able to defend and then start to put a little bit of margin on Corey Shepard and Aaron Briggs. This will be interesting to see. Obviously, the reset will have these guys right up close to them, and interesting to see how they manage to control this phase down. The restart for the lap tonight will be interesting, because we know James Scott likes to go very late. following the restart from the safety car. But the restart zone for this one kicks off from the outside of turn 11. So a lot of opportunity here to get a good jump. I imagine James Scott, though, at this point, probably going to want to leave it as late as possible to help reduce the offset of the draft and really try and work to keep Shepherd and Briggs behind him.
Yeah, well, if I know James Scott like I think I do, and I'm pretty sure after a season a bit of covering AOSC, I know he restarts pretty well, I'd be expecting him to go just after the apex of where you'd expect to go at turn 12. He'll go just after there, in my opinion, and he will try and blitz the field. Corey Shepherd, Adam Briggs, Andrew Dyson, Brian Borg will want to be awake to that one. But it's going to be a interesting restart here from James Scott to see if he and Corey Shepherd can keep this, and Adam Briggs was there with them tonight as well. See if they can keep the gap on the field, or whether there's a few more guys who want to get some speed and get up into the podium positions.
Absolutely. Pace car pulling away, so we're expecting a restart next time by. James Scott will be in control of this one. So there's one more lap to go, actually. So apologies. That was Cameron Veacock trying to work his way back up to the end of the train there. So a long way to go for him, and we'll continue just a slow punt around behind Scott Chambers and the safety car here. And it's good to see all these cars lined up the way they are. And again, I must say a quick thank you to all the series sponsors for helping out support this one. Jinx Shifters, who have come on as the naming rights sponsor for Season 10, along with AJ Insurance, Simrigs.com, Sydney Computers, 6 Gear Imagery, Race Art Australia, and Track Cams for Gourmet for helping us put this one on. And no, really looking forward to seeing the conclusion of how this one unfolds. What are your thoughts going into the final half?
It's going to be an epic finish to this one. It's been epic for the past 3 races we've seen so far. I'm not seeing why race 4 should be any different. I was going to say that Jinx Shifter safety car looks like it's in better hands out there than when I went around for our AOSC pre-show earlier in the week. But it's going to be an epic finish to this battle. We've got all the drivers that are in championship position at the front of the field. And I can't see how this will be not exciting. Jordan Ross, the road's that way, mate.
A little bit of off-track. They're not a traditional line there at all.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to do there. It's a bit of a weird one to be going off track there. That used to be the old safety car driver Nick Hughesler that did the off track. So not sure what's going on there with Jordan Ross. But anyway. And well, it looks like we're going to get to going as the safety car is almost pulling away. Are we going to green? This lights are out. So, waiting for the safety car to depart the field.
While we'll do that, we'll quickly recap the field. So James Scott from Corey Shepherd, Adam Briggs, Andrew Dyson, Brian Borg up in the 5th, Brett Loxton behind him with Damien Johnston, Tom Freer, Kyle Stokes, and Christian Smart rounding out the top 10. And keep an eye, because the run into the couple of hairpins is going to be very tricky for these guys to get through, along with how they utilise the draft as the pace car now pulls into the lane. James Scott will have control of the field again.
Now, am I right? Does he go after the apex, or does he go before? James Scott has control of this field as we lead away. There's a grid there, and here they come around the corner. He's just blitzed him a little bit. Corey Shepherd, there's a little bit of a gap there to James Scott, but he's making his intentions clear. All the drivers are sticking to the right-hand side of the road as they're trying to defend the inside of turn 1 at Doohan. They seem to make it around there. All the single files, a little bit of too wide in the mid-pack there, but all the leading cars seem to make it around, as it looks like Jordan Ross trying to make up more positions there. It's not been his night, but hopefully he'll be charging next time out, as James Scott has just blitzed the field. He's put a solid jump on Corey there.
in the back of shot there. I'll see whether we can pick up that car going wide. That's David Kidman off in the weeds, heading up towards MG, and a big incident down in towards the hairpin. It's got quite a few cars involved in that. Gilbert was involved in it, Henry King, as was waiting for the time and scoring to cycle its way through just to get a look at who that was. Car in 43rd, Matthew Bauer involved in that one also, so no doubt Race Control will pick that one up and have a look. Potentially see a couple more penalties with one of the EXG cars, again escorted wide through the hay shed there. Will come back onto the line, have to be cautious for that one.
One of the Zuba cars look like Loxton. We're going to see, we'll get a replay.
David Kidman here working his way out of turn 2. It's a good run early on. Not sure what's happened here. Actually well off wide in the dirt. Fires it across the nose. A little bit of airborne action here, using all the suspension in that car. Unfortunately, he didn't pick up Synergy, the DPR car that was right in behind him there as he tucked across the nose. This is the second phase of the incident we saw down into the hairpin here. We look at Henry King here and just missing the brake markers on the way through and taking a couple of cars out as a result. Another lock up there from one of the Coda cars. I think that might have been Greg Sharp locking up on the entrance as we return back to the racing. And as you're saying, Nori, James Scott has managed to get a very good jump out over the field. 9/10 of a second up the road over Corey Shepherd, who's got 4/10 now over Adam Briggs. I might quickly pull up the timing and scoring screen again just so that we can get that one up as the positions change, because it's all happening here with the 2 and 3 wide action as everyone works their way in this midfield. Aaron Dodd just gets a lap put on him over Thomas Hinds.
And this is the old adage, isn't it? Safety cars breed safety cars. These guys have all just had a lap or two to calm down. Now they're thinking, we're going to race again. And it's good to watch Brett Loxton on the outside. Kyle Stokes the inside. Aaron Dodd, my apologies, is getting caught in the middle like a pinball.
And that is not the way you want to back it into a corner off the grass there. He did well not to collect anyone else as he worked through, but dropped a couple of positions. He's got Stephen Varga ahead of him, and around the outside goes Jamie Dyke to take that position.
And he'll do the wise thing here and readdress the positions, but it's more about the save, and I think the save was not crashing into too many cars through that one. But this is Brett Loxton looking rearward from Cole Stokes' car, as these guys are locked in a battle for effectively P6 to P10. They're making their way through Stoner, and this is really when you get a gauge of the car behind, because if they make a lunge, if they pop their nose out, you know they make business. And the Honda, you sort of a sitting duck. There's a lockup from Jordan Ross in the back there, as he's made quite a few positions, so he's back up to P11, and that'll be doing him a bit of a justice for this race. These guys following through Hayshed and on the turn up to Lukey. So who dives here at MG? Who makes the run? Is it going to be Carl Stokes? Is it going to be Loxton or Linus Stern there? These guys aren't taking any risk this lap. They must have watched the last lap back and thought better of it as we make our way back through turn 12, final corner. These guys are starting to settle into their rhythm, so we're on lap 22, just about to go lap 23 of 34. Back at heading into the pit lane. Rob Harris not on his lid and on all 4 tyres, so it's a good race so far for Rob Harris. And he is
working well for him at the moment.
Tell you what, maybe it's that new livery he's put on. He hasn't gone the red, he's gone the silver. Lucky silver. I'm back, guys. Technical issues. Love my internet provider. Anyway, look at that. Look at the damage there you got on Jacob Knight's car. He's been back in the wars again this week. He just loves rubbing the paint off this car.
I think it's because there's too many colours on it, Matty.
It's so many colours. Why not just spread them around the track? Here we go. A bit of a dive here now. That's the 84 Sebastian Flock. Just puts the nose in there, shows it to him, just to let him know he's in the side mirrors. Now he tries to get the run down the inside, cannot get it done on this time, so he'll have to pull back in behind. So the race is well and truly underway, guys. I've missed most of it, but it's been exciting. I've been listening to you on the channel,
And the safety car really brought everyone back onto the same lap, which is good to see. Now, it looks like the top 17 have broken away, and then 18th position is a little bit further back, couple of positions. As we look out the back here of Jacob Knight, just looking at Matty Mascord now. In the back corner, is it? Yeah, Matty Mascord there. We're on board with Jacob Knight now in the cockpit. Drive-through penalty for causing a collision for car number 62. And car number 62 is Neil Pearson. From the simrigs.com DPR team. So a bit unfortunate for him to get a drive-through penalty. We'll have to check that one out for the AJ Insurance's impact of the round a bit later, especially before we do our pre-show next week. Just a bit of dirt kick up there for Jacob Knight. Tries to put the wheel on the outside. It's very scary coming around there, Norrie and Dan, because if you get a little bit too wide there, I mean, the tyres are up to temperature now, but a little bit too wide and getting that sand, and there is no coming back from that. Checking out the replay now as we head back to the Neil Pearson incident, Dan.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a look at this one, because that car is down in the pit lane already. It was a run down in towards the hairpin here. I'm not quite picking it up, but yeah, it looks like that one for Neil Pearson, his night is effectively done at the moment. That car has not got back off the pit lane, so might potentially see that change to a post-race penalty as a result. Keep an eye on that one. Just following that restart as well, just want to touch quickly Brett Loxton. We saw him right up at the pointy end up in P6 following the start of the race and qualifying. He's been overtaken by a few of the Synergy Sim Racing team cars, and that pit stop phase for them and the subsequent safety car really beneficial, where they had the 4 cars and able to use that little bit of a draft and freight line their way through over Brett Loxton, who's back up to 8th position now. He did drop to 9th, but a lot of work for him to do if he wants to get past the train of Synergy cars ahead of him.
Yeah, as we just having a look at Darren McKenzie a bit further down the pack, the number 2 car from Team Hyperdrive. Just coming up the back of this pack, they seem to be tussling there for position number 21 just in front, which is Rob Harris in the silver Jinx mobile. We head back, and there we go. We go on board with Rob Harris now as we head down the main straight, and the silver is much luckier for him, but he's sticking with that lucky number 13. We did see him previously in the week doing some laps at Long Beach in his normal position on his skiddly, but back on his wheels and racing tonight here at round 4 at Phillip Island. Now looks like we get a drive-through penalty for car number 10 on lap number 21 for causing a collision. So car number 21, if you guys got that up on your screen.
Craig, in the 010.
That's unfortunate for him. So car 010 getting a drive-through penalty. Here we go, a bit of a move now. Is he going to get it done? No, the 3 cars there as we just look in front of Rob Harris. That's Jacob Knight still holding out Jamie Stovold. He's on a big charge, up 23 positions since the start of this race. We head back to the Jinx Shifters replay. This one's for the drive-through penalty, car number 10, causing a collision. Ducks down the inside. No, he just goes off the track, tries to come around. Not quite sure if any contact was made there, Dan.
You know, seeing anyone, but I think he's rotated a car just ahead of him there as they work their way through. So not a great run for Craig. He's already been in the wars on 2 occasions so far tonight, so a little bit of a run to forget for him there. I think you just touched on him as well. The big mover so far throughout the field, Jamie Stovold, who did start off the back of the grid, up 23 spots so far, inside the top 20 now, in 19th position, and only 5/10 of a second off the back of Jacob Knight as we have a look at these guys work their way down towards turn 1, and nothing separating them as they fire in.
Yeah, it's a good little battle now that is going on for position number 18. So it's between Jacob Knight, Jamie Stovold, and Sebastian Flock, and Stovold is just waiting for that moment. He's running out of laps, so we're on lap 26 of 34. It's a sprint race tonight, 150 Ks here, all thanks to Jinx Shifters. Race number 178. And he's going to have to get some moves done if he wants to keep pushing on. 23 positions is a huge charge, though, from Jamie Stovold. And he puts the nose in a little bit, but he's not going to get it done there under brakes. Not quite close enough to make that stick. But there is plenty going on up and down the field. Tom Free is a big one, down 5 positions at the moment with Jordan Ross as well. So they are both back 5 positions from where they started. Probably not a good night for them after they've had some really strong appearances in the first 3 rounds. But no surprise to see James Scott leading us out of the pack with Corey Shepherd not far behind. And then we go back to Adam Briggs, Andrew Dyson. So the endurance team are doing well. Here we go, Aaron Dodd now under fire. Jamie Dyke behind him and Matty Mascord. These 3 are now battling this out for position number 15 at the moment. As we bring up the number 80 there, Jamie Dyke stuck in the middle of this one between 2 NSR Esports cars. Very similar with the green, just a slightly different change in the livery with the Fishy Motorsports. And it looks like Matty Mascord is trying to go fishing there. Let's see if he can catch his fish that's in front. He'll drop a line in. Let's see if he does it on this corner. I don't think he's going to get the run here as we drop it back a gear and feather it around here on the accelerator. And now we see Brett Loxton, who's been a little bit of the wars there. As you can see some of the livery starting to miss on the driver's side. He's had a bit of a coming together there with some people earlier on. Tom Frere just behind him in the 707, and look for him to move forward too, because he's been quite racy across 3 rounds. And here we go, puts the nose in with a big dive. They come down, stays up on the ripple strip there. Loxton gives him plenty of room though. Tom Frere will get the move done here. Looks like he's going to get a nice run out. Now it's going to be whether Jordan Ross can go with him as well. No, Loxton holds onto it, gets on the left-hand side of the road there. A little bit of a nudge there from Tom Frere. Tries to push him out of the way, Dan.
Well, he's giving him the love taps there, just saying, come on, mate, get through. Myself and the team cars behind all want to work their way through. And there's 3 Synergy cars here stacked up, ready to unleash themselves from the back of Loxton as they get up over the top of Lukey Heights, down and towards MG. It's good defensive driving here for Loxton. He's just positioning that car exactly where he needs to. Free has a big moment on the exit.
Yeah, I think he's pushing really hard there. A little bit of contact maybe as well that we can see there, Matty.
Going to lose his position to his teammate and the other one's behind.
So Loxton's doing a good job to hold him out here at the moment, because I thought he was definitely going to get taken over by Frere, but you're right, 3 Synergy cars. Now we see one duck down the inside. Who's this? Is this Smart or Frid? It looks like Smart there. Gonna just put the nose in and does not get the job done either. So there is plenty going on between the Synergy cars. They're not afraid to race for that position at the moment. As you can see him up on screen. So it's Christian Smart actually there in the 999 car just behind. So Jordan Ross, Tom Frere, Christian Smart. That is 9 to 11. All Synergy Sim Racing. In front of them, Xavier racing Brett Loxton. And then you got 2 Synergy cars in front again. So stuck in a sandwich.
Absolutely, and he's going to have to be cautious here because Jordan Ross gets a nice run down on the exit of the Honda hairpin there. Thinks about trying to crisscross down through the inside here. Not going to make it easy for him. Loxton's just positioning that car beautifully on the exit to try and hold him off, but another opportunity down in towards the run up over Lukey Heights to see what they're able to do here. Ross just setting up the run.
It's going to be one down to MG. He's going to make a move here. Pulls on the inside, under brakes. This one's a hard one for Ross. Doesn't want to make any contact. We've seen quite a few drive-through penalties already and cannot make that move stick. You know what it is? It's because he's got a short beard. He needs to grow that out. Then he'll definitely get that move done. That's what it is. We're sticking with the beards this season, boys.
The beard, the confidence of the beard. Yes.
That's what it is. It's the more beard you have, the more confidence you have. I like that. Brett Loxton, though, does it again, holds him out. He's been under attack the whole way. He takes the racing line and gives Jordan Ross a bit of move. He gets his splitter just in front, and he will go into the first corner here, the right-hander, the long sweeping right-hander. Loxton doesn't give up, though. We've seen him come back from this on the inside. Jordan Ross still in front around the outside. Oh, there's contact there. We can't tell. He's had so many scrapes down that side of the car already, but a little bit of contact there, and that'll be one for race officials to look at, and we'll just see who's going to go through. Tom Frere and Christian Smart now get the move done as well. They're going to stick together and push him to the outside before Jordan Ross gets back.
How is the teamwork to get Ross back into it?
And tagged.
Makes a meal of that one. That was teamwork to try and keep Jordan Ross up in the fight there.
Well, Jordan Ross is now not in the fight. That is unfortunate for him. Turned around by his own teammate. We've seen it before in supercar racing. Not good. But Brett Loxton still survives. And now Tom Frere is going to put the pressure back on him.
I have no doubt in my mind the team instructions will be for Tom Frere to attack, and attack further.
Yes, it's not a good night for the Synergy boys up the back. I mean, Damien Johnson and Kyle Stokes just out in front. And it looks like the top 7 have sort of split away from the rest of the group. So they are on the back of the lead. That's Damien Johnson, Kyle Stokes and Synergy Sim Racing crew. And then it goes back to Brett Loxton, who's holding out a Tom Frere, who's on a big charge here in the 707. He's back 5 positions from where he started, so looking to regain those. He's been strong in the series so far. And he's currently sitting in our series as well. I just want to have a look at that because he has been right up there when it comes to the season standings. And at the moment, Tom Frere is currently sitting 3rd. So he'll be looking, he won't be liking what's happening at this round. He'll be trying to push back in that top 5 if he can, but he's running out of laps. We're on lap 30 or 34. He's only got 4 to do it. He's going to have to make a move shortly because he's getting held up now by Brett Loxton. We know Tom Freer is much faster than him when he's got a flying clean air lap. As here we go, he puts a move on, comes in on the inside, under brakes. Loxton never gives up, does he? Not once have I seen him give up.
Not at all. He's just given enough room there to allow the 2 cars to get through, which is all you need to do. And then he's positioning the car nicely on the exit for all the traction and drive that he needs. This is a good opportunity though for Freer as he tries to crisscross down underside rear. It kisses the back of the bumper up past the hay shed. See what he's able to do up over the top of Lukey Heights. Just eases off, sets himself up for a run, picks up that throttle. I think just a fraction too far off the back here. And this will be another opportunity if he can get the run out of here and set up down the draft down the front straight. He is every chance of getting this move completed.
Well, I reckon Brett Loxton must have a Jinx Shifter on board and his sim set up because that's the advantage. That's what I'm saying. The Jinx Shifter just getting through the gears out a little bit quicker. Good to see our sponsors being on board. And look, here we go down the straight. The draft is on. Freer's going to make a move. Just pulls to the inside now. We head down to turn number 1. Here we go, doing corner. Can he stick it? Loxton's not afraid to go around the outside on this one. We've seen to a 4, a little bit of a wiggle there. Unfortunately, drops back but stays in the inside line. Now something happens for Tom Freer. He has to drop back in, pulls in behind the big southern loop. He's going to have one more crack, I reckon, going down to Stoner Corner. If he can just draft him all the way in there, he can have another look through Honda, put the nose in. Very dangerous corner, though, under brakes if you get it wrong. Drive-through penalty now, causing a collision for car number 5. So that's a Bailey Free now will have to do a drive-through penalty from Pursuit Sim Racing. It looks like, here we go, Freer now gets the move done on the inside. Gets it up in front. Does he hold it there? Loxton will not be up on the pillar. No, he puts the nose back in, holds his line. Very aggressive driving, I like it. Side by side, though, not pushing each other out of the way too much. Giving each other a bit of racing room. Freer now gets a good run. No! Oh, no, I reckon. Oh, Loxton was already sideways a little bit there. So Freer now looks like he's going to go through.
Yeah,
that was shades of Reynolds and SVG from years ago.
So it looked like Loxton's rear was right out sideways while Tom Freer's nose was way out of that situation.
Since God, but he just comes back every time. He is the comeback kid, isn't he?
Whatever setup he's got in that Vivicar, I need to find it.
Well, he started out of 8th and he's still in 8th. I don't think he wants to give it up. He'll be happy with the top 10 finish. I think tonight he's only got a couple of laps left to go. We are on lap 32 or 34. James Scott's still out in front, Corey Shepherd behind, Adam Briggs in 3rd, Andrew Dyson in 4th, and Brian Borg rounds out your top 5. As we go back to this incident a couple of corners earlier, which is between Brett Loxton and Tom Freer. Here you go, Loxton, Freer on the inside. Loxton gets loose. Oh, it's a wheel out on the grass, I reckon, guys. He's just put that one wheel on.
It's just a bit of neck Freer into the side of Loxton on that one. Unfortunate.
Still holding him out as we go live again, and now looks like Tom Freer is going to make another dive down the inside. We head back to a replay.
We'll throw it down. This is involving one of the Coda cars on another one. I think that might have been Greg Sharp getting involved in that rotation at the back of Honda. Who was that involved in it? That might have been Hayden Harrison, the Type N esports car involved in that one as well.
We head back live, and Tom Freer looks like he is well and truly in front of Loxton, but do not count him out. He's the comeback kid in this round. He wants that position number 8, and he's right back. Now a dive down the inside, and Freer locks it up under brake sideways, and Loxton puts his nose back in front. But Freer's got the good run on the inside. Still can't find that traction, though. That car is loose in the rear. Tyres are definitely worn on that one, as it is lap 33 or 34. We're going to come around and complete this lap now. And this will be our final lap here of race number 178. It is round 4 at Phillip. Oh, no, it's all happening at the back. Jordan Ross is back. He's back now alongside Loxton. Loxton will get the inside. Will they go 3 wide on this one? You think he's going to risk it with the teammate again? He gives in to Loxton, lets him have it there, but not many tyres left on the back of these cars. They're looking for any type of drive that they can get out of these corners. We head around this long southern loop now. Back under the wing there for Loxton, right behind Tom Freer. I was expecting Tom Freer might pull away a little bit here, but he just doesn't seem to have the drive. Now he's opened up a little bit of a gap, and Jordan Ross is going to put his nose in too here. Honda corner, it's tricky, gets it in. Loxton still holds it around around the outside, gives him some racing room, but Loxton now will be on the inside here of Siberia. This is our race leader though at the moment, Scott. James Scott. Where's he been all race? Oh, that's right, he's been out in front. Just taking the Logitech G AOSC eSports car for a nice little cruise around Phillip Island. Got a 3-second lead there over Corey Shepherd, who's in second. So the number 1 and 2 in the championship are coming around to complete the final lap here.
Yeah, hasn't been an easy run early on for Scott too, because he was under a fair bit of battle early on in the race, but that safety car been really able to extend. Briggs could be in for a shot here, maybe snatch that second position off Corey Shepherd if he just closed down that 6 margin.
That's good from Adam Briggs and Andrew Dyson there, because before the top 10 qualifying session, they actually were out of 8th and 10th in our pre-qualifying, so they've made a couple of positions there as we come round. It's the final lap at the moment. We're going to get City Computers photo finish is going to be interesting tonight, because we all seem to be on the lap. 1 to 7 have opened up some gaps, and you can see a little bit of gap between all of those guys. 8 to 10 is where it's at the moment. Tom Freer to Brett Loxton. That is my call for photo finish when we get to it, because they are going to battle this all the way to the finish line here at Phillip Island. The white flag is out at the moment. We're on lap 34 of 34. Here you go, your race leader, James Scott. Just needs to hold on. We have seen him make errors in the final few corners before, already in this season. It has happened. Corey Shepherd is a little bit behind, just over 3 seconds. As we come down, this one's very tricky. The tyres now getting worn. But you've got the muscle memory. You've done so many laps around here. The car's slowly getting a little bit looser. Just sliding around ever so slightly, but you're used to it now. Here, the long left-hander as we head onto the main straight. It looks like he is going to finish this one in the number 1 position as he salutes the people in pit lane. And it is James Scott who will take the win here, round number 4 of the AOSC 10. Race number 178, all thanks to Jinx Shifters. Then it goes back to Corey Shepherd. Adam Briggs will come on the podium in 3rd. Then Andrew Dyson in 4th. Brian Borg gets another 5th position. Damien Johnston in 6th, up 4 positions from his start. Kyle Stokes in 7th. Tom Freer in 8th. Jordan Ross 9. And then goes Brett Loxton in 10. Stephen Varga in 11th. So Tom Freer, Jordan Ross and Brett Loxton. We said this might be our photo finish. 69 tenths of a second there is pretty good. I'm just having a look. I've got some double zeros here on the timing screen from Brett Loxton, so it'll be interesting to see how close that actually was there, if we can maybe get a replay of that one. That one's going to be interesting to watch. There's some celebration burnouts there from James Scott. It's not a Shane Van Gisbergen moment, but they are celebration burnouts nonetheless.
You know, it was a really good controlled drive from Scott after the early jump and the first phase of the race. He was able just to hold off Corey Shepherd and build that little bit of a margin, and we weren't too sure how he was going to go on the restart, but just positioned the car nicely and actually extended probably a little bit more than we would have thought early on over Corey Shepherd, and come back with another great win.
So just going over our results, it is James Scott in the Logitech G AOSC eSports who takes the win here at round number 4, thanks to Jinx Shifters. Then it goes Corey Shepherd in 2nd. Adam Briggs gets on the podium in 3rd. Andrew Dyson just misses out in 4th. Brian Borg in 5th. Damien Johnson in 6th. Kyle Stokes 7. Tom Freer ends up 8th with Jordan Ross right behind in 9, the teammates. Brett Loxton has to give up that 8th position and go to 10th in the final stages of the race. Stephen Varga in 11, Aaron Dodd in 12, Jamie Dyke 13, Matty Mascord in 14, Reese Keane 15, Jamie Stovall makes his way back up to 16 after having a night of qualifying he won't want to remember. Jacob Knight in 17, and Rob Harris makes it in the top 20 there in position number 18. Then we go back to 19, Tyson McAvoy. Position number 20, then it was for David Kimmond. Then Rob Bowden is our 21st. Darren McKenzie in 22. Sebastian Flock in 23. Bailey Fred 24. Christian Smart 25. Greg Sharp 26. Aaron Gilbert in 27. Luke Holland 28. Matthew Bowler in 29. Cameron Veacock back in 30. Jaden Borg in 31. Hayden Harrison in 32. Tony Gaffer in 33. Kenneth Latta 34. Logan Barnett 35. Grant Caines in 36. Jamie Davis 37. Marty Hanson 38. Craig Anspatch in 39. Daniel Misdale in 40. Neil Pearson 41. Thomas Hines back in 42. Henry King in 43. And I can have a breath now, can I? 44 is Scott Chambers. Is that no? That's the pace car. That's our safety car back there. So we won't go on with Scotty. He only got used once tonight. But yeah, guys, a big one to go through this week. It's going to be a big post-race show, I should say, pre-race show.
You're not wrong there, Matty. It was on all race, and it was 3 and 4 wide for most of the corners here at Phillip Island tonight. So it'll be interesting to unpack our AJ Insurance's impact of the round and the Sydney Computers photo finish when we get to it later in the week. And I believe we're going to get James Scott for an interview.
He's in the commentary booth and the virtual commentary booth. James Scott, mate, congratulations. Another win, and you got to be happy with that one.
Yeah. Phillip Island, it's always been sort of an okay track for me. It's never been great, but it's never been horrendous either. But yeah, it was good to get it on pole in the shootout, which was a cool format, and get the win in the end.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you went with the top 10 shootout. Whether you know, it's a bit of a risky one there. You could end up anywhere in the field, which we've seen like from the likes of Stovall and people like that who ended up a bit further back, which we didn't quite expect. But yeah, you led from the start and a good restart there from the safety car.
Yeah, like you say, the shootout sort of all or nothing really. It's really hard because you got to hang it all on the line. But if it either doesn't come off or you drive conservative, you're sort of going to be nowhere as well. So you don't really have much choice but to sort of risk it. But yeah, there was a few guys that get caught out in the shootout there. Obviously it's really hard, like one mistake and you lose a fair bit of time. So yeah, it was unlucky for those guys. But yeah, overall I think the format was not too bad.
And I suppose we head into another sprint race next week. You're prepared for that? Done plenty of laps around Barber?
To be honest, I haven't done that many laps around Barber ever. I think the V8s were there, like the official series, maybe 2 seasons ago. But that was the first time I've ever driven it. And I didn't do that many laps that week. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll get too much time this week to do much practice, but we'll be able to see where we end up on next Friday.
Well, congratulations. That's 4 starts, 4 podiums. We've only had one. No, we haven't had 4 podiums. We had 3 podiums out of 4 starts, and a good start to the championship again. And congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Before I go, I'd like to just shout out to the all the sponsors at Altus Esports with Logitech G, Astro Gaming, Cube Controls, Own 3D, Race Tech Seats, and obviously can't forget you guys for putting on the broadcast and all the series admin. I know the servers didn't quite go to plan tonight, but they got there in the end, which is the main thing.
Someone had a black cat run in front of them this week when it comes to technology. It has not been good for all of us. So yeah, it's good though that we still got the race run and done, and luckily it was a sprint format tonight. So short, sharp, and sprint race, 1 pit stop, and we got it done.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
So yeah. All right. In second position, I'm going to call him. At the moment, he's the bridesmaid of the championship because he keeps coming runner-up. Corey Shepherd, second position, mate, tonight from the Premier Racing team. Another good showing, though, and strong performance.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Really happy with that result.
Just happy, mate. Come on, you got to be a bit more happy than that day. It's good to accumulate these points in the championship. I know James Scott's just in front. You did lead him coming into last round, but into this round, you're only 60 points behind. He'll open up that gap a bit more. What do you have to do, though, to catch him?
I'm going to have to start putting in some race wins.
Is it going to come down to qualifying? How did you like the qualifying format, and you know, how do you improve on that?
Oh, yeah, it was awesome to change it up a bit tonight. That was really fun. Yeah, I needed to do a bit of like calming down, a little bit less mistakes, and yeah.
Well, that's something I would say to get you through because you're fast, mate, and it's just going to take something, I think, something special, and you'll have James Scott, no worries.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Corey, and I'm sure we'll be speaking to you shortly. There's plenty of races coming up, and we know you're sort of running in that top 5 most of the time, so we will speak to you again very shortly for sure.
No worries. Just before I go, can I thank my sponsors really quick?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
big thanks to my sponsor, Mr. Antenna, all the guys at Premier Racing Team, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Mate, the Mr. Antenna is all over our screens, I can tell you. If you keep getting those top three, he's getting his value for money.
Cheers, guys.
That was number 2. Corey Shepard tonight come in second place. And in third place, well, third and fourth, we had simrigs.com, but it was Adam Briggs in the simrigs.com DPR car tonight. Here we go. Mr. Briggs, you've joined us. It's been an eventful night when it comes to technology. We nearly missed out on you, but we've got that reset. You got in the race and you ended up on the podium.
Mate, ripper race. Yeah, so we had the simrigs.com Mustang just hooked up tonight, and really stoked to get on the podium. 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, we're just absolutely thrilled to be here, really.
Must be pretty exciting after teaming up with Andrew Dyson for the 650k last week at Monza, and he was right behind you in your revision mirror.
Yeah, look, we're a pretty close-knit team. We work pretty hard on setups, and we work well together, really, as a unit. So we really just want to, put on a good show for our partners, simrigs.com, Southwell List and Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Services. We really want to be at the front and grab the attention of broadcasts, and to do that, we have to work as a team.
Yeah, he definitely did tonight, and obviously you guys actually benefited quite well from the top 10 shootout as well.
Yeah, we just took a sort of a approach of not complicating our setups, not complicating how we take a run at the lap, and just put in a basic lap that had minimal mistakes, and we thought we'd probably yield a pretty good result just out of that.
Well, it definitely worked for you tonight, and I don't know, Dan's probably got some stuff to say to you.
Yeah, Adam, really good job, mate. We saw maybe not quite have the pace early on. What were your thoughts coming after the safety car? Because you're right there on the back of Corey Shepard to close out the race. Do you think you might have just had a little bit left in the tank to get through to him?
Yeah, look, at times, it was really ebb and flow. So every time I sort of got within sort of a lunge range, it was at the wrong part of the circuit. And then when you did get into the right, it just didn't quite work out. He had pace in other parts, I had pace in the other side of the circuit, and I could never quite line up an opportunity where it was a clear-cut choice to make the move. Any move that I could have made probably would have been quite marginal, and when you're racing for a podium, you just don't want to be, yeeting people left, right, and center. So yeah, it was a... Look, put it this way, we're just too close in pace to be able to throw a move at him, really. So
really good run, mate. Next week, different circuit. I think it's Barber we're off to for that one. Anything you're likely to be able to take away from the setup that you guys have run tonight from Phillip Island off to there, or going to be a completely different mindset going forward?
There's a lot of sweeping corners at Barber, a bit more camber. So look, there might be some elements from this setup that'll work just fine there. I really think we've cracked a bit more form. We've returned to a bit of form that we had middle to late last year after a slow opening couple of rounds for DPR. A lot of other teams came out strong, like Synergy, for example. But I'm really proud that we've been able to turn around and get some pace on the board. We're closing the margin to Scott. We're closing the margin to Corey. So we just got to keep on chipping away at it.
Awesome, man. Well, before that, you guys, anyone you'd like to give a shout out and thanks to?
Yeah, look, I slipped most of them in there, so which is really, really good. But I just want to thank, obviously, AOSC and the broadcast team for putting on the show. It's not an easy job. We had a few resets tonight and frustrating nights like that. It's really good that you guys really keep at it and put on an excellent show for us and give us a race meeting to race at.
All right, well, again, congrats on third tonight, and look forward to seeing you back out there again next week.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Well, Dan and Norrie, they definitely are building some momentum in the simrigs.com DPR cars, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are. It's one of the teams that I've been keeping my eye on, and they are rising up the grid or up our championship standings the further and further we get into this season. Only 4 races in, but this is the perfect time to be building your championship charge because there's still a fair way to go.
When you look at it, 16 rounds, we're only 25% in, Dan. So still plenty of time to make an impact in this championship.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, if things go the way they're going, these guys are definitely going to find their way into it. Probably the one thing might help those guys, obviously they do have a lot of talent within that team. If they could get Reece Keane a little bit further up there, obviously that's going to help towards the team's championship at the back end, because when you've got the likes of Synergy Sim Racing coming in where they've got 5 cars up inside that top 10, you need a little bit of assistance. And we saw that towards the back end with Jordan and the teammates being able to help and try and get him back into position after that failed move on Brett Loxton there. So having a few more numbers up there definitely give them a good thing, but they're definitely on the up and up, as Nori was saying.
Well, it's another one to digest from this week. Of course, we will put it all together in the pre-race show for you later in the week. But a big thanks to our sponsors, of course, Jinx Shifters, our series sponsor. Also, Sydney Computers, who will be bringing you the photo finish this week. Again, AJ Insurances, who will bring you the impact of the round as well. We'll get to that one. Of course, the simrigs.com show us your rig segment, as we've got a couple of those lined up to show you as well. Also need to thank Race Circuit Art Australia, Sith Gear Imagery, and we couldn't do everything we do without track cams for gourmets. And I do want to personally put a shout out, guys, to Nick Hausler, who in the background has been under a lot of pressure today. Technology has not been our friend this round between myself and him. And unfortunately, a couple of delays tonight in getting underway, but we thank everyone for their patience. It's been another great one here for the AOSC Series 10. That was round number 4, race 178, all thanks to Jinx Shifters. Tell you what, we've only got 7 days till the next one.
Let's get after it.